What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JB Sports back again with another one. Probably the matchup of the NFL tomorrow is going to be Kansas City Chiefs versus the Houston Texans. It's going to be the first matchup between Patrick Mahomes against Deshaun Watson. I'm going to do a little backstory here. Both of those guys came out in the same draft. It was the 2017 draft. The Kansas City Chiefs traded up from pick number 27 to pick number 10. And a lot of people, assume myself, thought they was trading up to take Deshaun Watson. But they took a quarterback out of Texas Tech, Patrick Mahomes. Team, coming out of a system that's very pass happy. A lot of quarterbacks that came out of that system with gaudy stats but have not played at a high level in the NFL. So a lot of people kind of wondered about that pick when Andy Reid made that pick. But now as we stand here today, it turned out to be a great pick as he took Patrick Mahomes over Deshaun Watson. Now, when the Houston Texans found out that Patrick Mahomes was at number 10, the Texans traded up from their position to pick number 12 and took Deshaun Watson. So those two guys will be forever linked right there, going 2 picks apart. And it's going to be interesting to see how they play the first time meeting up tomorrow. Now, Mitchell Trubisky was the first pick in that draft. He went to the Chicago Bears, and he's trailing behind those two guys badly right now. But as far as the matchup goes, looking at the stats, man, you got Patrick Mahomes. He's thrown 11 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Deshaun Watson has thrown 11 touchdowns, 1 interception. Patrick Mahomes has the better overall arsenal on the offensive side of the ball. He's got Tyreek Hill, a home run hitter, probably the fastest guy to ever lace on a pair of cleats in the NFL. That guy's fast. You got Travis Kelce, arguably the best tight end in the game. You got Sammy Watkins, who was left for dead when he left Buffalo, looking like a bust. Was injury prone, but he has come there and he's having a Pro Bowl year so far. You got LaShawn McCoy, a guy that's trying to resurrect his career as he played with the Buffalo Bills. He had a good year initially with the Bills, but his last season with the Bills, he was looking like a guy that was faded at the running back position. But he seemed like he revitalized himself under Andy Reid offense as he played it in the same offense and thrived when he played with the Eagles under Andy Reid's tutelage. So he's got a lot of weapons. He probably has a little bit more weapons than Deshaun Watson, but it's not like Deshaun Watson ain't got no weapons either. He got Deshaun Hopkins, and arguably the best receiver in the NFL. He's got the home run hitter and Will Fuller, a guy that's going to force you to keep your safety deep, to prevent the bomb touchdown reception by him. You got Carlos Hyde, who's probably top 5 somewhere in rushing this season. He's having a real good year with the Texans. So it's not like they don't have any weapons either, but they don't have the speed and the over-the-top type of wide receivers as the Kansas City Chiefs. But Patrick Mahomes has pretty much made that team go, though, with his arm, man. He makes throws from every angle, no-look throws. He'll throw looking at the referee while he's running, telling the referee, watch what I'm about to do. It's finna be special. He's done a lot of things, man. He's pretty much, to me, the Steph Curry of the NBA, man. He just changed the way that position is being played as far as throwing, not have to be on balance when he's making his throws, throwing across the field, jumping in the air, making throws. When it looks like he's about to be sacked, switching from the right hand to the left hand to shuffle pass to a receiver or a running back or a tight end for them to make yards and take a potential loss to a plus yardage gain. So he's a magician back there behind the huddle. So it's gonna be interesting to see, man. Deshaun Watson is kind of from that old school of quarterback play as far as the Randall Cunninghams, the Steve Young, the guys that just, hey man, if the pocket breaks down, I'm gonna run and make some plays with my legs, and I can make plays from the pocket. A la Steve Young. Steve Young is pretty much the closest comparison to me to Deshaun Watson, because both guys were excellent passers, didn't get enough credit for their accuracy, and both guys can run and make plays with their legs, and that's what Steve Young has did with the 49ers, and that's what Deshaun Watson is doing with the Houston Texans. As you know, Steve Young won the MVP with the San Francisco 49ers. I think he won the MVP. He might even won 2. I know he at least won once MVP with the 49ers. So won't be surprised to see Deshaun Watson win MVP in the future, maybe this year. So this game here is going to, one thing it's going to do, whoever wins this game, if they play well, it's going to give them an advantage over the other in the MVP race. Now, right now, as we stand here today, I think Christian McCaffrey, running back out of Carolina, is the MVP. I got him number 1. I got Russell Wilson number 2. I got Patrick Mahomes number 3, and I got Deshaun Watson number 4. That's probably my top 4 as we stand here today. But we'll see what happens, man. We're looking forward to this matchup, man. I think it's going to be a shootout. I think whatever defense can hold the other offense from to a field goal instead of a touchdown will prevail in this game. But make no mistake about it. If the game is on the line and either one of these two guys have the ball, man, you know, if I'm a fan of the opposite team, man, you know, your heart's going to be racing, man, because that's not going to be a good feeling, man, because both guys are capable of taking their teams down for game-winning touchdowns, as Deshaun Watson has proven that in the past, and so has Patrick Mahomes. So it should be an epic matchup, man. Andy Reid made the decision when he moved up to the number 10 pick to take Patrick Mahomes over Deshaun Watson. When the Texans, Rick Smith, the general manager at the time, saw that, they traded up and got Deshaun Watson. Those two guys will forever be linked. The $61,000 question is, will Patrick Mahomes versus Deshaun Watson be the next Peyton Manning versus Tom Brady, the 21st century version, or will it be more like Michael Vick versus Donovan McNabb? Well, both guys failed to win a Super Bowl. Both guys put up good stats. And both guys end up meeting one time in the NFC Championship game, and McNabb was able to prevail and go on to the Super Bowl, but to come up short against the New England Patriots and Tom Brady, as I think that was Brady's third Super Bowl ring at the time. So, and those two guys never played in those teams. Oh yeah, and those two guys met before that. Michael Vick's, I think, rookie year, they met in the second round of the playoffs, and McNabb was able to win that battle, as the Atlanta Falcons upset Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers in the first round of that playoffs that year, and they went on to lose to the Philadelphia Eagles. The Philadelphia Eagles had a bye the first week because they had the best record in the NFC, and they matched up in that second round playoff, and they was able to slow down Vick's offense, and they was able to prevail in that game. But those are the only two times those two guys met in postseason, and it didn't turn out to be the battle that we was hoping it could be. So we'll see what happens, man. We'll see what happens. But it's the first meeting. It could be the first of 2 meetings this year. I could easily see both teams meeting up again in the playoffs, and that's why this game tomorrow is such a big game, because it'll give the team whoever wins this the head-to-head tiebreaker advantage. So it'll be like it's almost like a 2-game swing. If Texans win, they're 4-2. Kansas City is 4-2, and Texans got a tiebreaker advantage. If the Kansas City win, the Kansas City is 5-1, and the Texans are 3-3. Plus, the Kansas City would have a tiebreaker advantage, so they would essentially have a 3-game lead over the Texans. So it's an important game. Kansas City is coming off a tough loss where the offense was stymied. Patrick Mahomes was hobbled. He hurt his ankle. We'll see how healthy he is. Deshaun Watson is healthy. He's ready to go. So he seems like he's one of those guys. He rises to the occasion when he's going against the upper echelons of quarterbacks. Look at how he played against Drew Brees. Look how he played against Drew Brees. He played at a high level, and a lot of people thought he might even outplay Drew Brees in that game, as they came up short when the Saints hit a 58-yard field goal as time expired in a great Monday night opener. So we'll see what happens, man. But he always rises to the occasion, man. He always played well against Andrew Luck, played well against Phillip Rivers in the second game of the season. So Deshaun Watson seems like he rises to the occasion when he's going against the upper echelons quarterback. And he's going to need to do that tomorrow for the Texans to come away with a victory. So we'll see what happens, man. But my prediction on the game is I'm going to give Kansas City the edge, man. Pull out on a late field goal, 27-24, but it's a game that could go either way. I think both guys will throw for 2 touchdowns apiece, and I think both guys will have over 300 yards passing, and I think it's going to be a great epic game. But I give Kansas City the slight edge being at home, and with that crowd, they'll be able to get the Texans to have a couple of offsides penalty, because they're not going to be able to hit a count. They're going to have to guess the count, so that's going to cause a couple of little havoc. And we'll see what happens, man, because both offenses are explosive. I think the Texans actually have a better defense than the Kansas City. I think Kansas City defense is worse than it was last year. And last year, their defense was not that good, but at least they had some pass rushers in Houston and guys like that. And D Ford, they let both of those guys go. And they brought in Frank Clark. He's been healthy, and when he's been in there, he's not been productive. The only playmaker they have on defense is a Honey Badger, and he'll have to make some plays in the passing game as well as the running games. But special teams advantage I give to Kansas City, as they can, depending on if Tyreek Hill is healthy. I think his first game back, he probably won't be taking any punt returns back, but they got other guys that they can take that spot and make plays. And the Reed that always had high-level special teams. So I give them the edge in special teams, and Texans the edge in offense. And I give the Kansas City a slight edge in I give Texans the edge in defense. I give Kansas City a slight edge in offense due to the fact that they have a little bit more explosive receivers. And the offensive line, in the Texans offensive line, actually is a little closer than you think. A lot of people thinking like, oh man, Kansas City offensive line is much better than the Texans. Not this year. The offensive line has not been that great this season compared to last year. Kansas City's offensive line. I don't know if it's due to injuries or just flat out not being as productive as they were last year. But Eric Fisher is hurt, so that's causing problems. And with the acquisition of Laramie Tunsil, a left tackle for the Texans, and moving their number one draft pick to the right side, the Texans' offensive line had looked real good against Atlanta last week. And their offensive line has improved greatly compared to last year. I know a lot of people say, what are you talking about, JB Sports? Atlanta has no defense. Of course they're going to look great against Atlanta. Yeah, they look good against, compared to last year, their offensive line has made significant improvements. So the offensive line are pretty close to me between the Texans and the Kansas City. You can make arguments on both sides who have the better offensive line. I say it's just a wash. But like I said, I think the difference is the crowd that's going to cause a couple of offsides penalty. And I think Mahomes going to drive the team late after Deshaun Watson ties the game up. Patrick Mahomes will drive the team down late for a game-winning field goal, and they'll prevail 27-24 Kansas City Chiefs. Hopefully this will be the first of many matchups, and hopefully we're getting these two guys that forever be linked in the 2017 draft. Hopefully we get these two guys to carry their teams for many, many years and create that rivalry similar to Tom Brady versus Peyton Manning, and not similar to Donovan McNabb versus Michael-Vick. This is JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend. I holla.